So I was thinking about talking about this topic today. I just did not have the moment yet to do so. So here goes. So this video is regarding narcissistic, avoidant, immature, self-centered people with their own agenda when they want to completely leave you out of the picture when, for example, they're supposed to be helping you with something, that you are their customer or their client in a situation. Or it can be just anyone generally who is supposed to be helping you regarding narcissistic people when they are attacking you and bullying you and harassing you and stalking you and things like that. Because like, from my experiences, from what I have seen and heard, it's very common that the justice system, the authorities, the police, they do not believe it if you try to tell them that you have been emotionally, mentally abused. You have gone through severe psychological abuse. They don't believe you. Because again, of course, it's harder to prove than compared to, like, if you're robbed or someone just intentionally kicks your ass, for example, hits you in the face. Those are more easy to prove. But again, when we're dealing with emotional abuse, psychological abuse, narcissistic abuse, these sorts of things are basically invisible. All they can see is your panic. They can see your pain if they pay attention to it. But they don't even necessarily take it seriously. So this is a trap, from my opinion. It's a huge trap. And it's a huge issue in our society, in our world generally. And I can say, as a Finnish woman, as a Finnish person, because I've lived here in Finland my whole life, and I was very badly bullied as a child as well, at school, throughout the years. So I went through so much trauma inflicted on me, caused to me by these people, and they did not even seem to stop and think about how much pain and turmoil they were causing. I had to live with that trauma for years. I've had to work hard with myself to be able to heal all of my trauma and my issues. And from my point of view, there are not many people in my country who would have understood. I have never met but one person. I can name one woman who has understood me, who actually listened to me when I was telling her about my past, about my childhood. But in my 43 years, almost 44 years that I've been existing in this world, only one person. Everyone else were basically turning their backs on me. And as it still sometimes seems to happen, that I cannot trust people. So I've talked about this topic, of course, before in my videos as well, like as chosen ones. When we're sensitive, highly sensitive empaths, sensitive people, and we've gone through narcissistic abuse and bullying and things like that, there are not many people who we can count on. We might have to just really rely on ourselves and God. We cannot usually typically rely on people, trust people. So that is why we have to use our discernment and be careful in that way and not be too open with people. But anyway, this is just really coming to me. I was reminded about this again, that because it can feel like a shock no matter how many times you've gone through it, that you could not trust people, but it can still feel like a shock. And so this is my support to you guys, that of course it doesn't matter like whether you can trust a stranger or not. Of course, all the better if you can, but if you cannot, then what can you do about it? Because, you know, again, it's their choice, it's their point of view. If they don't hear you out, if they don't listen to you, if they don't help you, if they are not there for you, if they abandon you, they turn their backs on you, then that's on them. That's their issue to deal with. That's their karma, their lessons to deal with, because they will get them eventually. At some point, they will get all of that back. Because again, you cannot hurt a chosen one. You cannot hurt an earth angel, a good person, a kind person, a good sensitive person who has done nothing wrong to you except ask for help and trust you and respect you. Because it's also respect. If you ask for help from somebody, it's also showing that you trust them, that you value them enough to do so, that you open yourself up enough to ask for help, and it should be valued. But unfortunately, some people don't value it, and they just don't care that they are supposed to. It's so ironic when they are supposed to be helping you and they still don't. And they basically give you their cold shoulder. So I think it's so important to not internalize that, because again, these sorts of experiences can cause your trauma, your PTSD symptoms to act up again and things like that, because likely you have not been heard enough in your life, you have not been trusted enough, you could not trust people, you could not open up to people, you could not be yourself with people, because we cannot do that with narcissists. We cannot do that with our toxic family members. To them, we will always be the black sheep. We will always be the family scapegoats to them, in their eyes, if we stay in their lives, because they don't change. They don't fix their issues. If a person wants to change, then they have to fix their own issues, and they have to do it with themselves, within themselves, with God. Nobody else can do that, fix them for them. Nobody else can, just like that, remove their issues and their demons from them. They have to want to do it. They have to want that change to happen. And again, we're not responsible for other people. They are responsible for themselves. Everyone is responsible for themselves, for their own actions, for their own choices. And that is called being an adult. But of course, my wish is that people would have more empathy and care for others and actually be honest, transparent, respectful, decent people, decent human beings, and learn emotional skills, learn about healthy boundaries. Because again, of course, it causes a lot of issues when they don't have those abilities. And I think that is a huge missing puzzle piece in our society, that people don't have those skills. They don't understand. They don't understand. They are completely clueless about these things. So of course it's also affecting when you are interacting with people. And it's very, very sad to think, and it's very unfortunate that it's happening. But anyway, I'm here to support my people. So if this resonates, like this video and share, I would appreciate that, of course. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, and I'm here to help. My books will help you. I have a Finnish and English book, and also I do my one-on-one sessions to help my soul people, so that so that you can live a better life. Because it's not okay that you would be dwelling in these issues for the rest of your life, and you don't know what to do, and you don't know who to talk to, and you don't know who to trust, etc. So you're not alone if this resonates, and I just had to come on here to share my thoughts, because there are just some people who claim to hear you, but they don't. They show you with their actions that they don't. And you have to pay attention to that. Don't believe their lies. Pay attention to their actions. Their actions tell the truth. If they don't listen to you, then they don't listen to you. If they would understand you, if they would listen to you, actually, if they would help you, then it would show up in their energy, in how they are treating you, in how they are showing up to you. Then they would take accountability and responsibility. But when it's only lies, when it's only words, then it's only that. And it's hurtful. It is hurtful, but it's not okay that you're always hurt because of them. Because they are limited. They have narrow minds. So whatever the reason is, they can be narcissistic, or they can just be busy, or they can just be just very limited and narrow-minded generally. And they are not on the same level as you are when you need their help. But again, you just have to let go of it and remind yourself that you are wiser, you are smarter, you would never treat anyone like that. If someone comes to you for help, then you actually listen to them. You actually pay attention to their issue and you actually help them. You actually give them kindness, show them kindness and empathy. You actually hear them out, you actually listen, and you love to help. So that is you, and that is why it hurts even more if someone is not being kind and empathetic to you, because you care. We care. We are such people that we care, and we give a damn. So that is why it's of course even more painful, and it's even more hard to understand those kinds of people who don't do it. But anyway, that's just apparently a part of reality, how people function. But as I like to investigate things, to understand them, to be aware of them, to have knowledge, I'm here as an alchemist, of course, to share these things. so that I would be able to help my people, and again, like, remind yourself to try not to do too much, because if you try to do their work for them, then it's just too much. You can give feedback, of course, if you want to take that time, but I guess the best way to go would be just to let it go and give it to God, because why waste your precious energy and time? Life is so short. Why waste your precious energy and time to something that God can handle? God should and can handle for you. That you should not be having to do everything by yourself. And not be overextending yourself, not be always understanding people, not be always doing this and that and that. Like, because likely you have already been through so much, and you have been doing so much for people. Like, if you let go, what happens? Then it falls apart. But that's not your problem. That's not your problem to deal with, because you cannot save everyone. We want to freaking rescue this world, but you can only do so much alone. So give it to God. We have to eventually just let go and give it to our Creator to deal with. So know your limits. Respect your limits in that way, because it's also self-care and self-appreciation that, you know, you can affirm to yourself, I cannot do this. This is not my cup of tea. This is not for me. This is clearly not my scene. So I'm letting go of this. I'm giving this to God. Like, okay. If a situation or relationship falls apart when you're not handling everything, so let it be so, because you might feel like a superwoman, like a superman, yes, but you have to take days off too. Sometimes you have to put down your cape and just let things just be.